Hello, hello. Hi, tulips. Welcome, welcome. It is Wednesday. I feel like I should say Wednesday. I was doing twos of everything. Anyhow, we are super glad to be here. We hope you are here. And I'm not just talking to a camera with nobody behind it. Because I say we, because today we have a full studio. We have a live studio audience. Everybody clap. Yes, there we go. Everybody's here. I'm Teacher Michelle, and if it's Wednesday, that means it's Flower School Live. And I have Carolyn with us today. She's going to be with the YouTube folks, as well as Susie, who you all know and love. And then Ricky, as always, is keeping us on live for all of you on YouTube and Facebook. And then Leanne.
No pressure.
No pressure. None. And then Leanne's going to be with you on Facebook, as well as Caledonia. So you are in good hands as far as that goes. We're talking spring today. Explosions of colors, flower core with colors, and you can tell I have all these juicy colored containers up here. And I love to describe bright, saturated colors as juicy because if you think about it, we can relate the colors of spring, truly anytime if you think about it, to food, which is probably my second favorite thing behind flowers. So if I look at my juicy containers, I have lemon, lime, raspberry, and you're just gonna have to work with me on blueberry. It's really not blueberry, but just for the ease of discussion and my theory, it's blueberry. And I have all four up here because you guys get to pick the color I'm gonna work with today. So as you type in where you're from, put your tulip in if you're a tulip. What's a tulip, you ask? A tulip is somebody who is a graduate, is currently enrolled, involved, or is a member of the Flower Lovers Club. So if you fit into that criteria, throw your tulip in, put your city in, say hello to the people here with us today. And if you want me to use the yellow container, type in yellow. If you want the lime container, the lemon container, the lime container, the raspberry container, or the blueberry container. And then I'll check in a little bit later and we'll see which one of these we're gonna work with, all right? So, to start, I think I'm gonna play with this little baby. This is a fun little compote. It's glass. You may or may not be able to tell on camera, but it has kind of a milk glass treatment, so it looks aged, although it's a newer piece from Leanne's collection. I went down her row today. Forgot to ask, so too late.
Too late now.
Too late now. But what I've done is prepared my container with Oasis foam, and it's been soaked in flower food water, so it's ready to roll. And there's a little bit of water in here, not much, because you know, as you put a stem in, it displaces water. And then I have some good old-fashioned Oregon-grown sphagnum moss on the top. As I like to joke with the students, don't slow down, because moss grows on you, but then you don't have to buy it. So there's a win-win. As I pull some flowers, anybody chiming in, saying hello yet?
Have a few container.
I'm glad it's her that's not being able to talk and not me, although give it time.
Container colors.
Okay.
I have a blueberry and I have a raspberry.
Okay. All right.
Well, I'm collecting my colors for a while. So tulips, get your colors in there. I'm gathering. But a shout out, we've got Brian, Carl, Valerie, Karen, Bree, Marjorie, Vega, Wayne, Sherry, Dylan, Denise, David's here.
Hi, David.
Andrea, Emise, Diane, Erica, Arthur, and then Kathy and Rosie. I think I caught most of you. I'm sure I missed some. I apologize, but get those colors in because I'm tallying, and so is Carolyn.
Yes, please type your colors in there. If
Facebook's gonna win.
If you're a first timer, meaning if this is the first time you've actually joined us live for live, type your name in there. Well, your name is in there, never mind. Just say, hi, I'm a first timer, because let me tell you, the tulips the Tulip Bunch, they are friendly folks and they want to make you feel welcome. And we want you to come back. We want you to come back and join us again. So I have so many things. I kind of don't even know where to start. You know, when people say you get squirreled, I have a whole hamster collection of squirrels in my head right now. So I'm just going to start with my line. Okay. So I'm going to play with some beautiful white tulips. Leanne, do you remember, were these our locals from down in Aurora?
Yes, those are Oregon flowers. The Metzgers grew that, and they are beautiful.
Yes, they're
Kenny
fantastic.
just logged in, and
Oh.
he said hello from Texas, but Monday he'll say hello from here.
Yes, Kenny is coming back. Kenny was with us last fall from Odessa, Texas, and he took the basic course with us, but he couldn't stay. And we know now it's because he was buying a flower shop. So can't wait to see you next week, Kenny. I want to hear all about it. We all want to hear all about it. We want to hear
I want
it's
to know
going.
how he's storing his ribbon. That was his thing he posted on the Tulip Bunch, and so we'll be anxious to hear. next week.
Exactly. So take pictures because we expect to see them when you get here. All right. So I have a whole pile of fun stuff up here. I've got some really pretty white Lysianthus. They're a more petite flower than we've seen a lot of lately. Of course, the iris. I have white tulips. I'm not sure I'm going to use them. I don't know. We'll see where I go. I have some Aussie fern, umbrella fern, coral fern. You hear it called a lot of different things depending on the region of the country that you're in or the wholesaler that you work with. I just call it awesome. I just want like little plants of this everywhere I go. So I'm going to find where my foam is. I did such a great job of covering it. I want to make sure I'm actually putting things into the foam, not just the moss. So Spring is probably my favorite time of year. Well, I like the shoulder seasons. How's that? I love spring and I love fall. I love the transition from point A to point B in the weather. I love how we get flowers in the springtime. I love how we get just fresh and new and fabulous in the spring. I don't know, it just makes me happy. We, the students, and I were working this morning, and we have the sweetest yellow Gerberas in there. Didn't I say they just make you happy? You look at them, it's like, they just make me happy. So there's just something about spring, but then again, I also love fall because you're getting that change in the season again, that transition to, well, in my world, it's wool and leather and all that good stuff. But what's your favorite season? Are you a snow bunny? Are you somebody who loves spring? Are you somebody who really likes to slather on that, I'll say tanning lotion, but we'll call it sunblock, and enjoy the warmth of sun? Oh, I should have that Lazy Susan, because somebody's going to say, where's Lazy Susan? It's on the floor. So I just have a few things poked in there for the moment.
So Lori's loving that fern vase and saying it would be so beautiful for a vase for prom bouquets, and asked again the name, and I Googled it. Umbrella fern is the most common.
Yeah, umbrella fern, and when I was buying it, the rep said, oh, we have coral fern. I'm like, why do you call it coral? It's not coral, and it doesn't look like coral, but whatever. Yes, it's very long lasting. Even as a fern, we were talking about that earlier in class, that long lasting flowers, short lasting flowers. And the question was, well, what about foliages? And we were talking about ferns, that just by their nature, ferns tend to not be as sturdy, but these little fellows seem to do just fine.
They dry beautifully.
Yes.
A vase full of dried umbrella fern. I love them, and they're fabulous for Northwest style bouquets.
And the fact that they aren't Northwest is even better.
I know.
Not that we're dissing the local product by any stretch. Don't take that. But it's just a function of we have ferns on every street corner around here, or tree, or your car if you haven't driven it for 2 or 3 days. Moss and ferns, but.
While you're doing that real quick, I'd like to give a shout out to 2 first-timers, Jenna
Okay.
and Gemma.
Wow. All right. Thanks, guys, for making that hard. Jenna and Gemma on YouTube. So, Tulips, please make them feel welcome. Let them know that they need to come back and join us every single Wednesday at 3 o'clock Pacific for flower fun, except for when the flowers are not doing what I tell them, and then it's not so fun in my world. Have to laugh when I say 3 o'clock Pacific because I just got back from Washington, D.C. So right now for you guys, it is 6:10 and my body doesn't really know if it's coming or going right now. My stomach says I should be eating dinner and my brain says it's time for bed in about 2 hours. So yeah, I feel for those of you that ever travel East Coast to West Coast, it gets a little crazy, and it wasn't there long enough to get my body in line with what was going on. But it was very worthwhile. I was there for the Society of American Florists winter or spring board meeting as we prepare for our convention, which happens in the fall this year. And then they were also doing Congressional Action Days, which was lobbying up on Capitol Hill, talking to senators and representatives and the representatives of the senators and the representatives about issues that are important to our industry, whether that's trade or healthcare or employment law, all kinds of stuff like that. So that's what I was up there doing for a little bit. Took the hubs. He grew up in that area. He graduated from high school in the DC area, so he got to see some friends from high school and I got to work. It was a great trip. Yeah, okay. So I have a few little Lisianthus in there just for some fun. Now, granted, we've had color all week, right? Your Monday video was color core, flower core colors, and yesterday we were talking about iris, care and handling, and so forth. And here I come with a green and white bouquet. Not much color, but definitely fresh feeling. That was my goal. Get a little connection between the flowers and the containers as far as color, although I'm probably too far forward, huh, Ricky?
No, you're fine.
Is that all right? Okay. And just that little kiss of yellow down in the base of the iris gives it a little more oomph. But it needs a stick. You know me, I gotta have a stick or a twig and something. And I'm pretty sure this is gonna be too tall, but I can always cut it shorter, right? You can always make something shorter, but it's a little more challenging to make it, oh, no it's not, make it longer. I'm good with that. See, Ricky, I lied. She always asks me, are you gonna go tall? I'm like, no, I'll be fine.
I always say no, and then we do it.
And then we go way up above and you just look at her like, I tried, I'm sorry, didn't mean to break the rules, but you know, there's that. So, color. What container am I using for the next one? What color? Anybody?
YouTube was tied between blueberry and raspberry.
Oh.
Interesting. The blueberry and raspberry tied here, but lime is coming way on ahead.
Oh.
How funny. But it goes lime, then a tie with blueberry, raspberry, and lemon's way behind.
Really? Okay. Well, I'm glad then that I'm tucking some of these little buttercream yellow. See what I did there? Food, buttercream yellow lilies into my design.
Do you add cream cheese to your buttercream?
My frosting? Yes, I do. I do add cream cheese to my buttercream frosting.
I'm getting hungry now just thinking of it. Make my stomach growl.
Sorry. See, it's 6 o'clock to my stomach right now. It's like,
We
feed
should have
me.
brought dessert with us.
I should have.
Back. I've got my coffee ready. Where's the cookie?
That would be good. Wasn't planning ahead, was I, guys? I'm sorry.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
whoever's on stage has to provide treats.
Has to provide treats. That's a fair. Okay, no wait. The person on stage, we're doing the work. You guys bring the food.
Well, there's that.
There's that. I think Leanne's on next week, so then it's going to be her problem to bring food.
No, Linda's here next week.
That's right. Oh, I'm so glad you reminded me. So, Tulips, you are in for a treat. Next week, we have joining us a local flower farmer who is also a florist, and she's a graduate. And you are going to love her. She is about this tall. We might have to put her in a box. And she is one bundle of energy.
I'll loan her my heels.
Oh, there you go. So, you know, Leanne, that's funny you say that. Someday we should do you and me together in bare feet.
And then it would show the truth.
Show the truth. Nobody knows except when we get to symposium and they'll see, or some convention and they see Leanne dressed normally and walking or talking or next to me, and then it's like Mutt and Jeff for those of you of a certain age. Leanne's like, down here and I'm up here. Usually she has very high heels on if we have to be in camera together. So anyhow, Linda will be here next week. You will love her. She's going to talk about flower farming and floristry and just kind of her take on the world as she knows it. And please join us. You're going to love it. You're going to love her. She's a keeper. She's one of those people who go, well, they're a keeper. Well, she's definitely a keeper. So Linda, if you're on here, can't wait to see you. All right.
So Jim says the cream cheese with the powdered sugar, and he adds lime juice is his go-to.
I do lemon, but yes, a little acid always makes things taste a little bit better, I think. It brightens, according
We have
to
to test it.
all those chefs. Well, next week I might. Oh, you guys will be gone.
Kristen will be here.
Kristen will be here. Okay, Kenny. So next week I might have to bring treats for people.
So Lori wants to know what is next week. So just reiterate again about Linda.
Yes. So next week for live, you'll have Leanne with one of our graduates. Her name is Linda, and she's a flower farmer here in the Portland area. And she's going to be talking about flower farming. She also owns a floral design business. She's just amazing. She's just a bundle of energy, and if y'all don't love her when she's done, that's on you. And Linda's probably at home going, oh my gosh, shut up, Michelle. But I may have to bring treats next week for the class. Yes, Leanne.
So Trish is on, and she's coming this fall to see us for advanced. So Megan's giving her tips. Go to Just Pasta, go to Cheryl's on 12.
There you go. There you go. All right, I think I need one more little piece of Lizzie, just because I can. Just because I can.
So Kenny said if you'll bake something, so will he, and bring it on Wednesday.
Oh, well, there you go.
Oh my gosh,
We'll just have a party. We'll just have a party. That works. All right, so I've got a little bowl of spring. You could say I have some negative space right here. I'm going to read it as a whole because I left a hole on purpose, because I have the cutest little nest that I'm going to tuck in here.
We have a first timer over here on Facebook, Tina. So welcome, Tina. I'm glad you could join us.
Excellent. Hello, Tina. And then I have a tiny little, these are quail eggs, right, Leanne?
Yes.
Yes. I have a tiny little quail egg I'm going to tuck in there. So
I spent hours blowing them out.
did you have an omelet then? So I tucked that little baby in there for just a little interest. It's spring, right? So we always think of spring with renewal and rebirth and birth, chickens, all kinds of fun things. So fun fact, my neighbors have chickens, and they were laying eggs in our ferns. So we'd come home every day and there'd be a perfect little brown egg laying in the ferns that over the weekend, 2 weeks ago, became a perfect little omelet in my pan. So, well, there's no rooster, so they were not going to be chicks. It wasn't like I was, breaking up the family band or anything like that. So,
You know what I learned?
What did you learn?
We were at a B&B and collected eggs.
Uh-huh.
They're warm because they come out of a chicken butt.
Yes, they are, Leanne. Did you used to think that eggs came from the grocery store, Leanne? Do we have to have this conversation?
I could not eat them. They were warm. It was just like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, I wait till they get cool because if it's warm, it's a little creepy. Then I feel like I am eating something I probably shouldn't.
It's very creepy.
So I didn't use these yet. I might. I'm just gonna set them out of the way. So what was the verdict? Who has the most votes?
Well, Leon, I guess, is the tiebreaker with the
Well,
lime.
I think lime is kind of coming out, although since we tied, should we do a runoff between raspberry and lime maybe? Or do we have time, or do we just go with lime? Or
Let's
we
just go with lime.
raspberry?
Lime's good. It's the smallest. Works for
And
me.
you know, we're leaning into Cinco de Mayo.
Well, we got a month and a half, Leanne.
That's the closest I can come with lime.
I love it. It is never a dull moment at flower school, people. Never a dull moment. Oh, funny. So I have some curly willow here. And of course, we're talking spring, right? Spring's when things grow. So the curly willow that we're getting has leaves on it because it's trying to grow. So half the time, and I have a curly willow tree at home, half the time I like them on because it just looks fresh and green and growing, but they can dry out really quickly. And if it's something you're sending out as an order, they can dry out for the customer, and then it makes them think that they're old or they're dying or whatever. So I usually tend, unless it's for me at home or I know I have control of the situation, which if you've had me in classes most of the time, I tend to strip off those leaves just because they make a mess. So right now, I just want the tips because I'm going to strip the foliage and use this to give myself a little armature in here. So, fun fact to share today. That was a big sigh, I know. I'm gonna step out of my comfort zone. Not so much on this one, but on the last one, provided I get to it. I can't see the clock because the lights are bright, but Ricky will
It's
yell at me.
3:22. You've got plenty of time.
Plenty of time, she says. Go for it. I'm going to step out of my comfort zone, and I'm going to do it with all of you because this is the circle of trust, right? If you've seen Meet the Fockers, we're in the circle of trust, and this is... I'm with friends, all, 400 of you or something like that. But yeah, so when I get there, I'll talk a little bit more about that. But we're gonna play with a few things together because we can. So, any other first timers that have decided to be brave and comment about it? We're really not that scary.
I don't have a first timer over here, but I was just reminded that this was Persian New Year on the 20th, and that many times they use blooming branches to commemorate the holiday.
Oh.
And this year is auspicious in that they're saying it's like 3,000 years now that there has been Persian New Year. So
very cool.
the leaves on there could have been sort of appropriate because they were blooming out. I thought that was kind of interesting. So thank
Nice.
you for the reminder. I appreciate
Excellent.
that. These little notes that come into me, I always go, oh, yeah, interesting.
Well, and, you tulips are an international bunch. You are located all across the country, all across the continent, and all across the globe. So, what's normal for our local community is potentially something completely awesome and different where you live. Yeah, so happy Persian New Year. Water would be good. Flowers like water. You learn that in basic floral design.
Question is, can you root curly willow?
Oh, heck yeah, you can root curly willow. That stuff will root, if you just look at it sideways, it's gonna root. You can just literally leave it in a bucket. Sorry, not meaning to make people drunk, just trying to get it in focus. You can see the roots down here, these hairy little bits. This has just been in water for, a couple weeks. and it's showing roots. You can see some additional little growth nodules here that'll probably turn into roots. David would tell you this if he were here. He's with us, but he's not in the studio. He can verify for me that curly willow has an interesting hormone in it, in the plant, and it can cause other things to root or bloom out, etc. So if you were having a bucket with curly willow in it, the hormones that it might emit could also help other things root. So if you were trying to get some additional ivy going at your house, I know, don't hate me if you're in a no ivy zone, or vinca or clematis or something that you want to kind of root on its own, give it a shot. Throw some curly willow in there with it and see if the natural hormones will help it root. But yeah, curly willow is awesome. Once you get some roots on it, stick it in some vermiculite. You can buy like a pre-fertilized soil. There are some companies you can just buy bags of it, and make sure it stays nice and moist, and those little roots are gonna spread out, and in no time you'll have a little curly willow bush. And if you ignore it, you'll end up with a curly willow tree, like I do, which I wish it were a bush. So good question, very good question. All right, so what do we want to poke in here? We've got a juicy container, so I probably should use juicy flowers, yeah? And how about these? Anybody know what these are? If you do, type it in there. They come in white also. And I'll take any of 3 names that I know that I'm looking for. Are you answering me? Do you know?
I think so.
Okay, so hold that thought. We'll see if they give an answer, and then you and I'll have a little chat whether they're right or not. How's that? I need a little bit of foliage. So we have 2 students with us in the classroom today, and they are finishing up their basic class this week. Yay! And they're the last class in basic until the fall. September 9th, I think, 9th or 11th, whatever that. Ricky, do you have that handy? You always have all that.
September 11th.
September
Yay,
11th.
thank you.
Okay, perfect. Oh my God. We have some upcoming workshops, some of which are already full. I'm not going to tell you about them because you can't get in them. Too late. So sorry. But we do, if you are somebody who is interested or considering, testing with the American Institute of Floral Designers for your AIFD accreditation, I strongly encourage you to look at our Designing for Competition and Evaluation course. It is coming up in May, after Cinco de Mayo. At the end of the month, I believe it's the 19th, the 20th, and the 21st, which I think is a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It is only in person. It is only offered one time a year, and it is a prep class. That's how I would refer to it. It is a class designed to help you prepare and finalize your skills and your techniques, put a little polish on things before you test. Now, we have students that come that are testing this year, and they treat it as that spit shine, that final run through to make sure that they've got everything nailed and they feel pretty confident. And then we also have people that come who are going to test next year, and they use this as a benchmark to see where they're strong, where they're not so strong, and we will tell you that. And then they have a whole year to prepare and get ready. So that class, we still have a few spots. We don't take 9 or 10 or 11 people in that one. It's a very intimate, hands-on class with Leanne and me, and David usually makes an appearance every now and then. So check that out and consider joining us if you think you would like to test for your PFDE exam. Yeah, Leanne.
So the question that came in, are they taught by people who are certified evaluators, certified evaluators?
Yes. Okay. So excellent question. The question is the course taught by certified evaluators? Yes. Both Leanne and I are AIFD accredited. We are certified floral designers, and we are certified evaluator judges. So people with that designation of CEJ are the ones that actually evaluate at the PFDE, the Professional Floral Design Evaluation, which is that horrific sounding hands-on exam that happens at symposium. So yes, your instructors are AIFD accredited and certified evaluator judges. So we don't just tell you it's pretty and move on. We're going to break it down. We're going to break it down and let you know what you need to know, what you need to do if you aren't already doing it. And we're going to show you some really cool tips and techniques. We're going to help you get your headspace in the right space, which, you know, if you're a runner, you know that sometimes just preparing for the race is as important as running the race, but we're going to help you with both that, both the preparation for the race and then the actual race itself. So great question. Thank you for that. I probably don't have to say this, but Susie and Caledonia, can you throw a link up if you haven't? I'm sure you're already ahead of me because
It's already on
they usually
Facebook.
are ahead of me. Yeah, that's them. All right, so I have a couple of these yummy yellow roses that I stole from the students today.
I noticed it was like, I thought those for class.
Well, they were.
What's going on?
But they, you know, they didn't miss them. They had.
That's okay, she stole my phone from the students too.
My bad. I looked in and it's like perfect. There are a couple little
Listen,
scraps.
you know, our number one priority is the student in front of you. What happened here?
Yeah, well, there's that. I wasn't even thinking, Carolyn. I looked and said, oh, there's some little scraps in there, and that'll fit in my little gizzy bob over there just fine. And then away I went, and, you know, easier to beg for forgiveness than ask for permission.
Yeah, we have a stage diva.
I would flip my hair, but it's up, so I can't. Oh, Lordy. And no, we are not drinking yet. Yet was the operative phrase. Oh my goodness, there's just so much pretty stuff here. Okay, so back to these. Do we have any answers?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
We have Star of Bethlehem.
Okay.
I can never.
Ornithologum. Uh-huh.
And I have Star of Bethlehem and Sun Star, and one that I know is wrong that I'm not going to shout out.
Okay. And did you
I was wrong.
Oh, okay. And then I also grew up knowing them as Chinchinery, which would be a common name. I think the Brits use it. So if anybody is with us who's over the pond, type in what you call this, please, because that's what I learned it as. And then I got my big girl words with ornithologum, which is a mouthful. Be careful what you say when you say those words sometimes. But these come in yellow or orange. Squirrel. Orange and white. I have not seen yellow, but yellow would be fantastic if they did. But they just kind of have a mind of their own.
I have yellow in my kitchen right now.
Do you have yellow? Okay.
So they do come in yellow.
Cool beans. So, Leanne, I know daffodils are your favorite flower, but is yellow your favorite color? Because I do know you gravitate towards it.
You know, yellow is not my favorite color. In fact, I sort of dislike it, but yellow and orange work in my house really well.
Okay, that's fair. I'll take that.
And so I end up with a lot of yellow. And David's daffodil and yellow is one of his strong colors. But yeah, I have all these yellow vases. I have all these yellow. It's like, wow. But no, I don't like yellow.
But don't like yellow. You know, and I kind of knew that, but I don't think we'd ever really talked about it. I don't own anything yellow or green, although I did buy a shirt in DC that was green because it was St. Patrick's Day and I was afraid of getting pinched. But I love yellow flowers. They are so happy.
Yeah.
Craspedia.
Yeah.
That Craspedia, just I look at them and I giggle. They're just little round fuzzy things. How can you not?
It's blooming sunshine.
It's blooming sunshine. There you go. Oh, that's a really good descriptor, Leanne. I like that.
Well, thank you.
You know,
I went to Floral Design Institute and
I
I
was-
looked at the descriptive word list.
So what Leanne is talking about is at school, we teach you all aspects of things. We don't just teach you how to make a pretty poke and posies. We teach you the business side of things as well. And part of the business of floral design is you have to be able to sell what you make. If you can't sell it, you're just a starving artist with a lot of flowers dying in your house, right? And that's not cool. We don't want that. So we work on some selling terminology, some selling vocabulary, if you will, to help your customer, basically. Okay, get in there.
So Annette has validated you with Chin Chinnery.
Okay.
I had never heard that.
Really?
Ever, ever, ever.
And that was the first thing I learned of them being called, and then Star Bethlehem, and then slowly but surely I got to the $10 word for it. But yeah, and I have no idea why I know that.
Well, now you have a $20 word. Fuglamjok is the Icelandic.
Oh. Thank you, Becca. Be careful how you pronounce that.
I know. It's like, whoa.
We might have just had our first on-air bleep with that one. Are we on a 10-second delay, Ricky? I probably should ask that, because if somebody's going to slip up, it's...
It's more like a 2-second delay.
Oh, that isn't going to be enough in my world. Okay. All right, so I have just kind of this wild and crazy, I don't know, hot mess of things going on at the moment. I have some gorgeous tulips over here that I'm going to grab. If I can get to them easily. They are monsters. And somewhere is the one whose head I snapped off.
While you hunt for that, shout out to Lisa, Joe, Lila, Laura, Rose, Lori, Kim, Marjorie, Tricia, Sweetbriar, Jim, Janet, Gayla, and Gloria.
Oh, wow. You guys are really showing up today. Thanks.
I know. It's
Awesome
been
sauce.
fun to see all the comments and to see everybody. I think I want to stay on this side.
No. So these, excuse me, are peony tulips. So they just have this fantastic, I won't even call them a double, it's more of a triple, quintuple, thruple layer of petals. They open up gloriously. They have an excellent vase life. Some have fragrance, this one does not, of course, because I just stuck my nose in it. Of course it won't smell good. But they're just a wonderful peony tulip. They are not, they're not going to be the same price as just your basic white tulip like I had up on camera earlier. So be aware of that. You're going to pay a premium for them because they are a premium flower. But it's just an option to show your customer something new and different that maybe they haven't seen before. Maybe it's an opportunity to expand your offering just in the spring flowers section. Speaking of spring flowers again, how many of you offer potted bulbs this time of year? Do you have the hyacinth vase for forcing? Do you have narcissus or hyacinth in a pot? Type in there, how many of you sell potted bulbs this time of year? Because I love them. Okay, oh my goodness, so many choices. I probably should have started with this guy because now he's too big. All right, well, thoughts and thoughts and thoughts. What do you guys think, students? What do you guys think about these in here for a little spice? The freesia that also don't smell, sorry, that tickled, which should smell, but they don't really have a fragrance today, which is unfortunate. So let's tuck a few of these babies in just for a little more color. So of you who are with us in the States, how many of you have done proms yet? I know that there were some when we did the prom segment a few weeks ago. You had some coming up early. Has anybody done their prom yet, or are y'all focused on the next biggie, which is probably Mother's Day. Well, Easter. Easter's early this year, isn't it? Isn't it
Easter's
like
April 9th.
April 9th?
Actually a little late.
Okay, that is late. I was thinking it was earlier than that. Hard to tell, but I think I want another rose in here.
Prom for us is the week before Mother's Day.
Oh, is it?
Mhm.
Oi. I saw you guys had a flyer, but I wasn't paying attention to the actual date on it, obviously.
Last year it was Mother's Day.
That's a nightmare right there. Not that it's any problem of the school district to schedule that way, but they should pay a little more attention. I used to do the graduation event florals for a university down in Salem, and every fourth year graduation fell on Mother's Day. It was horrific. It was horrific getting product. It was horrific just for the people. Yeah, it was just not my favorite. Loved when it was not that time. All right. Get those out of the way.
So the thing that's kind of funny that they're commenting on, it always makes me laugh.
Yep.
You dressed correctly, your shirt looks beautiful behind that vase and flowers.
Well, so see, I told you guys I was stepping out of my comfort zone today. I always have black on because it gives the flowers a nice background and a pop.
Well, obviously, this was the right outfit.
Yep, and I was standing in the closet. You know, y'all do that thing. You're standing there naked going, what am I going to wear today? And this shirt was calling to me. It was saying, wear me, wear me. And I'm like, I don't want to wear you. Because if I get you wet, it's going to show up as a big dot on my shirt. And if I spill my lunch, it's going to show up as a big blob on my shirt. And then I thought, what the heck? So,
That's so funny, they were saying the same thing on YouTube.
y'all, pay attention to the flowers, not what I'm wearing. Really? Come on. Come on. Well, thank you. I thought it was quite spring-like. I just didn't want to look like an Easter egg up here.
Well, you don't. They think you look
Oh.
like Meryl Streep.
Okay, thanks. Oh, these little daffies aren't very happy.
Oh no!
No.
They're even new. That's sad.
I know. I want to use them though.
Oh.
I'm going to use them
And they
anyhow.
have to last through photography.
Yeah. All right,
Ricky has to
Ricky.
make it look stunning when she does all these shots.
Yeah, you're going to have to work on this one, Ricky.
Ricky's become a florist since she became a photographer.
She really has, you know. You can pick things up by osmosis around here, or just because there's nobody else to do it.
You
So
know, and because she has amazing natural creativity.
exactly, yeah. There's that.
But, yeah, she came gifted. We love Ricky.
We love Ricky. Ricky never gets to leave.
Okay.
I know you've got a little shackle around your
Yes. She thinks we gave her a bracelet at Christmas, but it's a tracking bracelet like they put on criminals, so we know where she is all the time. She cannot get away from us.
You let the secret out.
I know. Well, that's all right.
And I didn't even buy her a cup of coffee.
Didn't even get sold on that cup of coffee. Well, that seems unfair. I want a little bit more. Hi, there it is. Squirrel. A little. Oh, so did you guys know what this was? Anyone? Anyone?
I
You
don't
can
believe you asked.
make tea. Did I ask already?
Nope.
No.
That's gotta go in. What is this?
You can make tea. People have tea out of this. I don't. It upsets
It's
my
yucky tea.
stomach. I know, it doesn't taste very good, but you tea people seem to like it, so you all do you. I'm not gonna do it.
Oh, yeah.
They're
YouTube is
coming
just
in.
chiming
They're getting
in
it. They know.
really quickly.
They've got it? Okay. What do they have?
I have feverfew and chamomile.
Yep.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. I like it in my garden and I like it in a vase, but I don't like it in my cup. I felt like I should have made that into something Dr. Seuss. I like it in my garden. I beg your pardon. I like it in a vase. Yeah, whatever. Whatever. Dr. Seuss is a different episode. Tune in on Thursdays. There is no Thursday. Don't tune in, please. Okay, so just a fun little riot of color. That chamomile gives it kind of a what I call a weedy tweedy look to it. Fairly compact, but as we know, those tulips, they might decide to grow on us, and tomorrow they could be up a little higher in the design, which is okay. You know, I feel if you use tulips, you need to embrace the crazy that they are. It's a good kind of crazy, not a, kill you in your sleep kind of crazy. So there's that.
That's why we are all tulips.
That's why we are, that is why most of us are Aries tulips, in fact.
So you did that in floral netting, is that correct?
That one was in just the curly willow, stripped curly willow
okay,
armature. So I did my first one was foam, and the second one was the curly willow armature. So here is where it gets fun, and fun is in air quotes for me, because I teased early on that I was going to step out of my comfort zone a little bit with all y'all, because we're friends, right? And you can teach a an old dog. We can teach a new dog tricks too. It's called Obedient School. But you can teach an old dog new tricks, and you can teach an old dog old tricks. And by that I mean this container, gorgeous little container, doesn't have any water in it yet, but I have a rectangular Kenzon in the bottom, and I've covered it with some floral netting to give it some additional support, and then I've taped it in. Now, if you've had me in class, you know that I have cats in my house, and I probably have mentioned the little furry boogers on TV as well. They eat all my flowers, so I really can't put things in the house. So I don't usually spend a lot of time on arranging and designing things at home, because they have to go outside on the barbecue lid outside my kitchen window. Not very cool. But when I design at home, I tend to use a Kenzon because I have them permanently adhered for the most part into the containers, because I use the same containers over and over. And to be honest, at home, I'm not a really good florist. I stick whatever's left over in a container, in a vase, and I say, look, I'm a floral designer, and I'm done. But I just have to have some kind of flowers, at least in the, on the barbecue. But I do tend to work with a Kenzon on occasion, and I don't think we've really ever done that on camera. And I thought we'll just take this little journey together so we can kind of work through the functionality of it, the frustration of it on occasion, kind of the benefit that it's in great water source, but also that you don't really have a lot of control over it, and it's not always very deliverable, as in not deliverable. So that's why we don't usually do it here, but it's like, what the heck? Come along on my little journey and we'll either succeed or fail together. How's that?
Be brave!
Be brave! Woof, go big or go home, right, people? All right. So for this one, I want to stay kind of in the blues and purples and violets. You guys have to see these. These are amazing. So Leanne got these at market, and they are allium. So they're in the garlic family. So if you get a close up, and they, on the little camera, they're reading very blue, which is good because they're very blue. Normally we see them in a purple, but as the blossoms are popping open, they're a very nice blue. But can you see the stems on these? They look like they've been at a party all night. They're all crooked, and they're just so fun. So Carol and I are like, well, what are you gonna do with those? Like, I don't know what I'm gonna do with them, but they're really cool. And decided, all right, well, we're gonna embrace the crazy. We're gonna put it on the porch, and we're gonna give it a cocktail. So that's where we're going with those in my head.
The specific variety is Japan Dancing Perfume.
Japan Dancing Perfume. Okay.
I know.
That's a mouthful for that. Yeah, absolutely. All right. So we're done. Thanks for coming. Bye-bye.
I know, because it's just so cool.
So I'm going to use a little bit of hydrangea because I have the floral netting in here as a mechanic to give me some additional support. I also want to give it a little more disguise. And this hydrangea has some nice long laterals here, not super duper long. We have pink ones. Remember the pink ones last week that you could practically make a bouquet? But I didn't want pink. So we're with the blues. And I'm just going to use the laterals independently. Now, would I do this in foam? Probably not, maybe, probably not even with allium, because these guys are such big drinkers, right? We know that hydrangeas just love their water, and I want to make sure that they're in the water, which they are, and they're fairly turgid. They're not bad. And it's helping me conceal the mechanics of the tape on my container. And it's also just softening that a little bit so you can kind of see where I'm headed there. But I might add one more because I can, just to help conceal that. And what I am doing with these to make sure they stay where I've put them is I am literally impaling them. So if this is the base of the Kenzon down in the bottom of my container, all those little metal spikes are here. It's like a little bed of nails, right? So I'm impaling that stem onto that Kenzon, which sounds horrific, and I'm sure it's not enjoying the process, but that's what holds it in place. So in theory, when you run out of the pins to hold something, you're kind of done putting your stems in, unless you have the floral netting in there to give it a little extra support. And then even at that, you might be having an issue, much like I'm having right now as I argue with it, partly because I can't see into the container. That's a little bit of it. So foam free has taken on a life of its own, and it's not new. Foam free designs are what we did before we had foam, right? So that was Kenzon or man-made replacements for what later we now have foam for. Sustainability is always a big concern, right? We're a green industry just by what we do, but sometimes we could be greener. And for a lot of people, this is an option. The downside is it's just not really a great deliverable option. I don't like where he's going. And, he just doesn't want to go anywhere. Fine, don't play. Working with a Kenzon is a little tricky if you're trying to deliver things. Now, Carolyn, when you are doing events and stuff, do you use a Kenzon mechanic at all for deliverables?
Absolutely not.
Okay, I knew that. I was pretty sure, but I thought I would just check with her in case. There are just so many challenges associated with that, and getting good, secure placement on things, making sure that they'll survive transport. How about you, Leanne? Do you like to design in a Kenzon? Do you enjoy that? The meditative part of it at all?
You know where I love the Kenzon and where I believe it has a truly wonderful purpose is when you're designing on site or in your home, because you can do some truly exhibition style work where you spotlight an item that you're not covering over all this floral netting and such. So if you do installations or home servicing or designing in your own home, Kenzons are fabulous. For deliverables, I don't see it as a financially effective mechanic and a stable mechanic.
It's fabulous for photo shoots, like you said, for doing really interesting arrangements, but the price of Kenzons is cost prohibitive to do a design.
Absolutely.
Or sale.
Because you want it back.
Right.
Yeah.
And the customer doesn't necessarily want to pay the price for the Kenzon.
Exactly.
And that's where, if you have like a home client, because some of our graduates service a client every week and they go to their home and do installs.
Yeah.
That's the most perfect tool in the world. It's just a matter of knowing your client and knowing your design. I hadn't thought about photo shoots, but you're right, that kind of goes right in there. Good tie-in. I hadn't, that was
Very, very trendy,
Mhm.
but you don't have to move them. And I know we see a lot of people on Instagram, which is kind of a photo shoot that you get to watch as they create them sometimes, or just show them to you. But you'd never get to see what happens after they snap the shot. How did they get that from point A to point B, or did it just go from here over to there? So some things to consider. Always choose the best mechanic for the task at hand. Okay, Leanne, what's going on?
Take your back bases and just scooch this way.
Oh,
And that way you've got clear, because those lines are so fabulous, you don't want to muddy them up. And then you've got a little bit of tape showing, so just be aware.
oh yeah, that's
If
the
It
back.
looks so cool on camera, and I want it to look fabulous. on
Excellent.
camera.
Well, don't want my underwear.
But yeah,
showing.
that cleared it out. Thank you.
You betcha. So I want to tuck a little bit of this fern in the back here, because I know somebody's yelling, her tape is showing. So
You know it. That's why I was like, I'm not even gonna go there.
not done yet, but thanks for the heads up.
Our tulips are very helpful.
They are, yes, and we appreciate that. We appreciate you all very much. If we don't tell you enough, we certainly do appreciate you. All right, so I'm gonna break.
Wait till the professional photo.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So while you're doing that, I want to give a shout out to Lynn. He just passed advanced yesterday. So he's fully FDI certified now.
Awesome, Lynn. I saw your submission in there, and yeah, good job. You've moved through the program at a very nice pace. So congratulations. Hopefully, somewhere down the road, we'll see you joining us for designing for competition, so you can take your skills up to the next level. That'd be very cool. I know, Leanne, you signed a boatload of certificates
I
today.
know, his certificate was in there.
Excellent.
FBI certified floral designer, actually him and Lauren.
Lauren.
Lauren is a certified floral designer as of whatever day they passed it.
Yesterday.
I signed it today.
Awesome.
It is in the mail. I don't know if it made the mail, but it is in the mail.
Yep, it went out in the mail today. Yep, so it should come within, well, depending on where you are and how long it takes your letter carrier and all the happiness to
Those
happen.
little details.
Those little details. Yeah. I'm never sure anymore. All right. Remember when I did the tinted baby's breath? I had to use it because it's just so fun and fluffy. And I'm kind of doing I'm not kind of, it is a monochromatic. Well, now it is, but in a minute it's going to become analogous, I have a feeling, so whatever. Whatever, right? So
It's an arrangement.
it's an arrangement. I
With a
apologize.
color harmony.
With a color it's an arrangement with a color harmony, and
Using
I
lovely hues,
yes.
intense tones and shades.
So I apologize in advance for the peek inside my mind today. If you need counseling afterwards, we will completely understand. So I'm really grouping this together. I'm layering it. Baby's breath is, it's on trend. Love it, hate it, whatever. It is, it's a drinker, likes its liquid. So having it directly into the water is a nice option for it. But I'm layering it. I'm placing into and over and around to build it up so it doesn't feel quite so wispy, and it reads a little more as, I don't want to say as mass, but it does read as a larger item. I don't know where I got this, but we'll put it in the valley because we can. All right. Oh, I have those carnations. These are super pretty, kind of an antique purpley, and it's going to pull that blue in here and a little bit of the blue and the violet into that. And I'm going to tuck these little babies down low. And I'm going to go right through, crunch, you probably heard the crunch there. Maybe not so aggressively, Michelle. I'm gonna tuck them right through the hydrangea and again impale them as best I can onto my Kenzon that is down in there.
While you're designing, Joe would like to know, did you always know from a young age that you were meant to be a floral designer?
Me? No. I was going to be the first woman governor of Oregon. And then Barbara Roberts screwed that up for me. So I changed my mind. And I actually went to college and have a degree in English and communications. And I taught, go figure, right? You wouldn't think so the way I'm babbling today. I didn't teach. I worked in marketing and advertising for about 15 years while I did floral design. And we didn't call it a side hustle back then. We called it a hobby job. And it was just getting to the point where I made as much money with my floral design as I did working for somebody else as an account representative in a marketing firm. And I thought, this is silly. I'm just going to do something I love. So I quit the big girl job and went to work for myself and have never looked back. Best decision I ever made. Well, other than marrying my husband, I have to say that in case he watches. But I absolutely love floral design. I love teaching floral design. Would not have thought that's where I would have ended up when I started out in the real world as an adult. And I do that because, really whoever is an adult. But I love it. I wouldn't change a dang thing about it. So I've got those in. I'm going to add these anemones, which you probably cannot see, but they do have a little black eye in them, and they are going to help bridge my colors, give me a little darker, moodier palette. And I also see that we're out of time. So I'm going to add these in as I finish up today before we all head out. But I want to say thank you all for joining us today, and encourage you to come next week and see Linda with Leanne and learn some interesting things about flower farming. If you enjoyed it today and you think somebody else might enjoy the show, give it a like, give it a share. If you're on YouTube, subscribe so that you get notified when we go live. And go do something you love, because I am. Bye, guys.